It gives me great pleasure to interview Nick Vassilos. Nick is the Global Portfolio Acquisition and Analytics Leader at Morningstar. Thank you for joining, Nick.
Thank you, Uday.
Nick, how is the OTC market adapting to this whirlwind of regulatory changes?
Well, I think the answer is it's very much a work in progress. For example, EMIR, with requirements around the reporting of OTC derivatives, went into effect in mid-February. At a German Fund Association event I attended in the first week of March, it was abundantly clear that there was still a lot of confusion and uncertainty around this regulation. Who ultimately is responsible for reporting to these regulators? Is it the asset manager itself, custodians, clearinghouses where applicable, any other intermediaries, a mix of the above? So there really was a lot of uncertainty around it. I think this is also true about the upcoming adherence to Solvency II regulation, which will be taking effect in a little over 20 months.
All right. And how does this specifically impact credit risk?
Well, I don't think that credit risk is immediately impacted by this regulation, by the regulatory changes. Asset managers still need to focus on providing alpha to their end investors. However, as OTC derivatives move toward first being exchange cleared and then exchange traded, there will be impacts down the line. As well, there should be increases in the transparency in terms of measuring the use of derivatives to manage and hedge risk. So I think the combination of those changes, better transparency and movement of OTC derivatives onto exchanges, will impact fund risk in coming years.
Very good. So what do you think are the big opportunities in this evolving landscape in the OTC marketplace?
I think there are a lot of opportunities around regulatory reporting requirements. Asset managers, many of whom have a real expertise in risk management, don't necessarily have the capability or the expertise around adhering to these new reporting requirements. So whether it's Basel III, EMIR, Solvency II, I think there's a real opportunity for some of that work to be outsourced. So third-party firms that have the scale to invest in processes and systems to be able to provide solutions for these regulatory requirements, I think there's a lot of opportunity for those firms.
Very good. And at TSAM Europe, I hear that your presentation will touch upon the need for investor transparency. So how, Nick, can Morningstar help clients and investors in this area?
Well, increasing transparency for investors really forms the core of our mission at Morningstar. Investors really value our independent lens onto portfolio exposure, and I think that's especially true in a complex area such as OTC derivatives. In addition, Morningstar, with our depth and breadth of our global portfolio holdings, that really provides a unique value add that investors, advisors, asset managers use Morningstar for, and that is to provide comparability across the fund universe, no matter the vehicle. That fund universe, that comparability, is especially true in the fixed income alternative space, where the use of OTC derivatives is most prevalent.
That's very useful, Nick. As as a speaker for Morningstar and a spokesperson for the industry, really, do you have anything to add or any closing thoughts on this subject?
Yes, I do. This is a very challenging yet exciting time in the derivatives world. The regulatory landscape is evolving very quickly, whether it's the movement for OTC derivatives to first be exchange cleared, then traded, or these new regulatory requirements. So in this fast evolving landscape, there really is a lot of opportunity, and there will be a lot of change occurring over the next 5 or so years. So at Morningstar, really looking forward to being able to provide increase our ability to provide portfolio exposure and risk analysis for investors in the area of derivatives.
Very good. Well, Nick, we look forward to hearing from you at TSAM and to your presentation. Thank you very much for joining us from Chicago, and see you in London soon.
Thank you, Uday. See you in London as well.
Thank you.